Traditional resumes. Overviews, examples, and resources. Resumes are one of the first ways that a company gets to know you. However, when a company puts out a job search, they often receive hundreds of applications. This means that the person reading through the resume files has about 5 seconds per resume. Any grammatical mistakes, any errors, anything along those lines, your resume gets dumped in the garbage. They don't go any further. So crafting a traditional resume that is accurate, is error-free, and stands out in the crowd of 100 is essential to getting your foot in the door to the interview. One of the first things you need to do is decide which resume format best fits your situation. Will a chronological resume be good for you? Have you been working in this field for a while, so therefore you can show that you have a strong background through your previous jobs? Or will a skills resume be best for you, showing that you have the skills it takes to do this job, although you may not have been in the workforce? Some things that you want to include are the identifying information, such as your name, how to contact you, your objectives, education, employment history, personal information, and references. When we get to the peer review section, I do not want you to include phone numbers or addresses for your references because that is personal information and these will be online. However, when you turn it in to me, I would like you to include that information. You also want to be sure to revise, edit, and proofread to make sure that the resume is error-free. As I said on the first slide, I have friends who work in HR, and they have just a few seconds to look through a resume. The moment they see one error, no matter how strong of a candidate you are, your resume gets dumped in the garbage. And the reason for that is if you cannot take the time to make sure your resume is perfect, what are you going to be like on the job? So here are some stylistic choices for your resumes. You want your resume to stand out. In chapter 14, in chapter 9, they talked about templates and how templates are good, but you also want to change a template to make it work for you. Because when there's hundreds of resumes that are out there, if they all look the same, you want yours to stand out. So one way to do that is insert a graphic or a logo, like the little star feature on the upper left-hand corner. You'll notice that my name stands out with a solid line and the information then to the right. There's 2 different colors that are in here. Certain things are bolded to stand out. Another way is to add a line or some color. So here we have 3 different colors. There's a line that goes across, my name's up top, and again stands out and is set apart from the rest of the document. You can also change the font, color, and size of your name. Here my name is much bigger up at the top of the paper to really stand out. I could have also written my name in blue, something along those lines, again, to make it pop. Again, you can use templates to help you get started, but be sure to alter the template in some way that makes it yours. You don't want that standard, basic, blah kind of a template because chances are other people are doing that as well. And in a pile of 100 resumes, you want yours to stand out. You should also be consistent with your design theme. So if you chose the logo element, your cover letter should also include that, as well as your thank you letter, and we'll talk more about that. But you want to keep the theme flowing from each piece of a document, so they all together they can act as one cohesive document. That way also, when they get the thank you letter later on and they see that logo or your name in red or whatever it is, it will trigger the memory of your resume. You also want to be sure to proofread. Again, errors are deadly. Do not put an error Make sure it's proofread. Read it 5 times. Have someone else read it out loud. Grab someone, ask them to read it again and again and again. Lastly, you want to be careful with things like voicemail and email addresses. When you put your phone number down, and most of us have cell phones nowadays, and your voicemail's like, yo, what up? Give me a call. Well, your future boss may not appreciate that. So for the sake of getting that interview, you want to go ahead and make sure that your voicemail, is a little more professional. Same thing with email addresses. If your email address is bombsthemountain@hotmail.com, you might want to open up a new one that's a little more professional, like hcaldwell@hotmail.com, something along those lines. When you are interviewing, you're going to, you want that professional email and that voicemail because you're projecting your business self, not your personal self. You also, lastly, want to check references before giving out their name and number. Having been in the business world for quite a while, it's always a nice courtesy to know that you're going to be getting a phone call to give a reference for someone. And you also might be surprised. You might think that you had a good rapport at a business. However, they might not feel comfortable giving you a reference. So that's always just kind of a good thing to have in your pocket. And lastly, project your best self. You all are rock stars, and you want your bosses to know that. So you want to project your best professional self possible. All right, I hope this helped on the background information of drafting and creating a resume.